Hello and welcome back. So to start this episode off, we're going to do something. I've never tried this before, so honestly I have no idea if it worked. Last I heard it didn't work in the previous version, so hopefully that's changed. I want to make a seal of jar binding. I want to see if I can get this, like a jar sitting right here, that's bound to a jar like sitting right here. So I can just toss things in, and as long as they're linked, they'll flow into my network and they'll get deposited where they belong. So I want to try that. The very first thing we need though is one of these seals. So 4 of these magic tallows. These are rotten meat to recantatio. I mean, they're not really hard to make. I've got the alchemical construct set to make them, so I just tossed a stack of flesh in there and away we went. Now I'm going to go with, I think it was a black one because I happen to have some squid ink laying around. So we're going to make 2 of these. And now to make the jar seal, this is where things get a little interesting. We need alienus, iter, permutation, vinculum, vinculum, I don't know how you pronounce that, and vitreous. So let's see. What are we doing here? Okay, so we need this one, iter. Where's iter? There it is. You can get a spare. Perfect. Iter. And we need the trap. There it is. Now I've only got 1 jar of that stuff, so I don't want to use it up. Or I don't want to lose the marker of where that spot is on the line here, so we'll just do this. Toss some in there. And how much did the recipe cost? Looks like it's 6. What am I missing? Alienus is one of them. Where is it? It's going to be right in front of me, isn't it? That's usually how it works. There it is. Right next to Iter. That's fantastic. Alright, so... oh, my mind is just not working here. Alienus, Iter, and permutation. So... alienus... iter, permutation. No, I didn't actually pick the jar up. That's why I'm missing one. See, told you, one of those days. There we go. Now we got 5. So let's see if we can make this work. Because if we can, it'll be interesting if this works. I mean, it sounds like it's going to be an awful lot of right click, shift, right click, that type of thing. Just like the binding that blood altar setup was I think going to be the same thing. It's like depending on how you click, it either joins the network or it doesn't. So we don't have any more flesh. Let's toss those in there. Where are you? There we go, right? No. I want a jar binding seal. I do not want... see, here's the chest binding seal. Here's the jar binding seal. That's the one we want. What? 1, 2, 3, 4... okay. Fine. Let's just get rid of that one. Alright, let's take a look here. So now we got it set. Will it take it? There we go. I don't have enough pneumonic matrices for it to hold too much there, so okay, good. Every now and then it stops and it's like, oh, what did I do wrong? Why did it rotate? Okay, so done. Perfect. Now, let's put that away so it doesn't clog up my inventory. Okay, so jar binding seal. By adjusting the mixture, yada yada yada, see the notes on chest. Okay, so right click on a chest with a chest binding seal, you can create a new network. Right click on a bound chest will link the seal to that network. Okay. Oh, that actually doesn't look that bad. Let's see if it works. So we got a jar here. When you give me that, 1 more jar, and then let's see what happens. So we have empty jar and empty jar. Shovel. So if I right click, that didn't work. Shift right click. Information on the created network notes that only empty jars are able to be bound. Okay, you cannot bind void jars or jars with labeled. Sealed jars have a higher suction. Okay. So that is an empty jar. Jar binding seal. Aw, they might be broken. That'd be a bummer. Alright, I'm going to look into this, see if I can figure out what I'm doing wrong or if they're actually broken, then I'll be back. Well, that's a bit of a bummer. It looks like they don't work. Everything I've been able to find said they should work in version 1.8 of Thalamic Exploration, but they don't appear to link. They're saying that if you have a jar on the ground and you shift right click it, it's supposed to bind, but it shift right clicking definitely doesn't work. So looks like they're still busted. Oh well, we can just toss them in a chest, and maybe when I update to the next version of Feed the Beast, it'll fix it. That'd be kind of cool because they're neat. Let's take a look how this thing's doing. Looks like it's piling up pretty nice. I haven't really done anything with it. I could probably pop him off and not use him for a while. So you can see I got enough of the hyper energetic Nitor to last me a while, and enough Alumentum to do the same. Alright, I'm going to go dig around and decide which one of my many to-dos that I want to see if I can get done, and then I'll be back. Okay, so with the failure of those linked jars, we're going to make something for Newt since he has made a request. And that's going to be... And I lost it. Thermic Exploration. Here it is. An Everfull urn. Really simple recipe. 3 buckets, 3 bricks, flower pot. I mean, it's not right that hard. These are three of the 4 materials I use to make these reservoirs. So, not that hard there. But we're going to set these up first real quick. We need to adjust each one of these. That way the positive output is in this direction. Get the tanks... Oops, need filter pipes first. Gotta have those. And I think I kept those here. Alright, need more filters. Which means I need more gold. Having those things in place has made a world of difference in how fast I can construct these things. Because before I could only do one thing and I'd have to go hunting nodes to find, to get my power source back. With these, not so much. Wait, that's the wrong one, that's why. Oof, a little bit of lag there. And filters. Okay, running low on pipes. As it stands right now, as long as I keep the materials inside these things, by the time I come back from whatever else it is I'm doing, I've usually got enough power to make it again. I'll see this one's charging over there, so it's not getting any right now. But we'll come over here, slap these down. Yeah, pretty much the usual. So, disconnect. Oops, not that one. That one. And now, this one is going to be 8. Luckily, I've got just enough of that one. I mean, overall, it's a fairly simple process to do. It just takes time. And now with that, with the addition of that recharging station, I can do it significantly faster, which is kind of nice. Oops, don't need that. And then we need a metal. And yeah. Put this back in the jar. Put these tanks in place here and here. Now these I've only got 1 jar, but when I get to the meadow, that'll be different since I've got more than 1 jar of that. So what I'll end up doing is I'll put this jar here, and then I'll grab 4 of these jars and dump them into the system since I don't have an overflow right now, so I can't really just start throwing things in there, otherwise they clog the whole hopper chain up, because 1 jar will fill up 8 of those buffers. Alright, so this is our setup, and it needed vacuous, it needed aqua, which is right there, and it needed precantatio, which is right there. Now let's see if it works. It did require, we had 32, right? Okay, so we should be done. Okay, good. It's like, it'd be bad if I ran out of the material. Now, assuming I did that right, it should pull everything in. And we should get an ever full urn. Now the awesome part about these urns is they'll fill things near them. So if I put this down next to like a like our little, whatever the heck this thing is called, crucible, when it emptied out, the urn would immediately fill it. Now the only thing to watch out for is apparently they're a little bit of a rough spot on the frame rate. But I'm going to go figure out where he wants it. Once I know where he wants this urn left, I will be back. Alright, well it looks like that did not work. Apparently this ever full urn cannot fill witchery stuff, which was, a little bit of a letdown. So we're sticking with the golem we've got over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it down right here. Let's see. There it goes. You can see the water swirling down, and it's full. Now, this thing can be a bit of a monster on frame rate sometimes, so if I start having issues, I'll have to come over here. But that means that from now on, I just need to start throwing stuff in there, and it'll keep it full for me, which is kind of cool. Let's see, what do we have left to do? We've got 12 water left, so we can make one more of these, which is good. I would have preferred to be able to make more, but I'll have to pull some more aqua out of the storage tank back there. So we'll get this one going, and then we will get it in place, drain the next tank, and then see what we can do here. So I've done this so much. I've got the requirements, the pattern. I got everything memorized because I'm going back and forth. Usually I'll create these things in pairs. So I'll create 2 buffers so I can turn one into a reservoir, and then place the other one down where it goes in the other room, which seems to work out fairly well going back and forth. It means I can take out 1 element per trip. But in this case, what I'm doing is I'm making another one after this, which is where I'll need some more water coming out of here. Is it done yet? Yes, because we need to recharge these. They're getting a little low. I'm going to have to, I'm hoping at this rate, before I finish this episode, to get to the point where I can put the crystallizers in place. That's what I want to do, because right now I'm limited. I have to be really careful how much I put in here, because if I exceed 256, like I was saying before, it comes down to the end, it hits this buffer, and then it just starts backing up down the line. Basically just jams up the works really bad. So now we've got metal. Put that right there. Actually, let's put these away real quick so they can charge up. So I got water. I got whatever the heck that permutation. That one should be vacuous. And there it is. Every now and then it gets stuck on my mouse. And that one. Okay, now. I love the creaking. Alright, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now the catch is it's a bit of a pain to do this unless you... It's easy if you just take the labels off first. So, get those out of there. Pick these back up. And down. You can see I modified the pump setup a little bit here, made it look like it's supposed to be there. Then I wrapped it around the column here. My initial thought was to go through, but I thought it would kind of mess up the look of the column. Now, what I wanted to do is I wanted to just have it push in here and go right this way, but that's not how the buffers work. You need suction for them to work. So what they do is by putting this bellow on here, I get suction from this direction here. So this one outputs and it hits this pipe, and the suction from this thing causes it to drag through and then pushes it into or lets the suction from the next one take it. Because you never really push anything in Thaumcraft, it's all pull. So it works out. It does mean that I can do a similar setup, because I do want to still have the arcane, is that what it's called? Arcane furnace? Alchemical furnace. I'm going to put that directly in the middle for the time being, so it'll be sitting where this pillar is sitting. And then what I'll do is I'll just have a single pipe going off of it into the ground, and then on that end, all I really have to do is connect it to this pipe here, and I should be able to just run it down and link it right into that alembic on the other end, and it should just work. It's not going to be the fastest thing. I mean, there's maybe 30-second delay or so when I put a jar here. When it gets down to the other end, it's going to get longer as things go. But it shouldn't be that bad, luckily. And are we done yet? There we go. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get as many more of these as I can make. You can see I don't need that many. I got the materials to make this one. That leaves me with 7 more to go. And there are another 9, I think, after this. that I'm going to have to put a space in here for. Like, I'll probably leave spaces for them and slowly fill in the buffers in the tanks, because I don't have anything to melt down for them right now, because I need to be able to pull at least 8 of the material before I can do anything with it, because I have to be able to create the filters here, or the labels for the filter pipes. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. And then once I get a little more of this done and we're ready to start putting in the crystallizers, I'll be back. All right, and we're back. Let's take a look at what's been done. It's been about 2.5 hours, something like that. So, as you can see, got all the tanks in place. Well, with the exception of these. I don't have, 5 of them in place yet? Because it's for these, like here, you got your Tempest, Ira. I put one in for the Decidia since I have a ton of sloth shards and I may eventually need that stuff. Nvidia, Gula, and Superbia. Because I only crushed enough of that stuff, or only melted it down just enough so that I could get the labels in place here so that the filters are set. Beyond that, I'll just make those as I have time. So I got the spots set where I want to put the crystallizers. Of course, this is assuming they actually function like I remember them. If they don't, this is going to be kind of interesting. Now, that's not it. It's this one. This is our recipe for a crystallizer. It doesn't need to be silver wood, just needs to be wooden planks. I happen to have a bunch of silver wood down here that I don't need, so I used it. It does take 1 balance shard on either side here, and then the alchemical construct, which is made like this. So we've gone through this when we built the alchemical construct out there. And then just a standard dispenser and some iron. So we're going to grab 2 of these. And we're going to see if my memory is holding up. So they should attach here and here. Now, this is the part... I may slide this whole thing up one that's sticking into the floor, and I don't really like that. But I thought you could stick relays on them. But I don't even know if you need a relay. I may just need one close enough by. So what we'll do... Let's just put one here. See if that's close enough. So now, in theory, let's see. What do we have that we have too much of? This will do. Because we should be... Yep, we're full. So if I run some of this through... Now, I did bury the pipes. You can see that here. I ran it down through this. So it's kind of got its own little cubby that's going through. And it comes over to this pumping section here. Now, it takes 3 of these bellows attached to a buffer to overcome the distance and pull out of that alembic. So I added a 4th one just to be sure. A couple extra buffers to kind of push it along. I did modify this here. I had to put an extra buffer in here with nothing attached to it, because what was happening is like the Spiritus would come here and it was getting pulled on, so it didn't have a chance to actually go up into here. So it ended up at the end of the line all stuck. I found this out when I was trying to put some fames in there, and it ended up filling up a whole bunch of buffers down that end. So just adding this one little buffer in here is enough to stop that from happening. Alright, I put a little tap here. One other neat thing, 4 of those bellows is enough to overcome the a labeled jar. So let's see if this works. So in theory, if it does, that stuff should slowly make its way around the room. Yep, there it goes. It's flashing by there. Okay, it's flashing by there. Oh, that's what I forgot to do. I didn't give it any suction. Work? There we go. So you can see the... Oh, they don't consider that a chest? Guess we'll have to modify this a little bit. I wonder if they'll take a normal chest. I was hoping they'd take that thing as a as an inventory and they'd kick their materials into it, but I guess not. Alright, so what do we need? Need some wood here. We'll just go 2 pieces of silver. That should be enough. Okay, that's just a standard chest and see if that matters. Does it? Oh, I thought these things would eject into an inventory. It may... Oh, I bet that's it. Oh, that's a shovel. That's still a shovel. Work? There we go. That's the catch. So let's put... Just for now, that way they stop popping into my inventory here. So I'm going to need to rework this so that they can aim at a chest. Because what I want to do is I want to have them coming into a chest, and then I'll probably use transfer nodes to pull it behind the wall here. And then what I was planning on doing was kind of filling in the gaps. So like this shelf up to here would probably be all barrels, and then I'd fill in this area over here with barrels as well, just to kind of get it, I guess. I want to store them basically. I want to store that overflow so that, you know, I'll have 64 stacks of everything. Beyond that, I want it to void. So what I'd probably do is just let it go and put like a trash can at the end, put void upgrades in all the barrels, something like that. Just so that, you know, it gets to the end and it just, I keep what I need for a backup. So, you know, if I happen to burn up enough vacuous that I run out of everything I have here, I can go over, grab a stack, toss it in the furnace here, melt it up, and get it back into the system. That way I don't have to go scrambling to try and find something. That looks like it worked. So now what we should be able to do is just come over here. This pick cuts holes through everything. And let's just put this over here so I don't lose it. Okay. So now what we can do is just toss that one on. Oops. That one on there. And it'll filter through. Now, like I said, I think I'm going to rearrange this. I don't really like how it was sitting. So I may work it around a bit and see. The purpose of these is that if this buffer backs up and gets full, it should start filling into these tanks, which gives it, you know, I think it's 4 or 8 per, and it can store up to 256 total. So hopefully that's enough of a buffer that it won't jam the system up. But I think that's where we're going to call it for today. I'm going to rework this, like I said, and then we'll see how it looks when we come back. And thank you for watching.